One's down. He's hurtling on the ground floor.
Yo, I did that pro strat. You throw the double stickies and then you auto wall. So much skill.
That was easy.
So much skill indeed. No, that's obviously a joke. So, anyways, I'm going to explain the OP clinger strategy as well as kind of how to avoid dying to it. It's a discussion that we had during my live stream. But anyways, now that you guys have seen it, I want to show you guys what it looks like on the receiving end and talk a little bit more about it and why it's really, really strong. So first off, I want to show you guys what it looks like on the receiving end. It's a pretty simple concept though. When someone is turtling in like a 1x1, you can basically just throw a clinger or two. Two will make it so it guarantees the kill. It doesn't matter how much HP they have, it will 200 them to 0 in a matter of like 0.1 second. They actually can't just hold down left mouse button to build and you're just dead instantly. Watch what it looks like when I'm on the receiving end. There we go. I had abs. Yeah, okay. So yeah. I was trying to teach my friend how to do it, so she figured it out pretty fast. It's really simple concept. But as far as like where you would apply this, it's again when people are turtling up in like a 1x1. This is an excellent example where if I had clingers, this would have been great, right? So I'm doing duos here. I guess this guy was by himself, and me and my homie are just trying to break down his walls and then obviously try to place our own. He ends up just making a small mistake, and I guess he was getting shot. But that would be an excellent example of where you could apply this clinger strategy. I want to say that it really blew up when Ninja was complaining about it, and why it's called the OP clinger strategy is because, well, he was talking about it during his live stream. So I'm going to just kind of play a little clip so you guys can have some context. So let me go ahead and actually move my cam here so you guys can hear what he had to say about it.
Love what they are used for, their intention. It's just when you get 3 or 4 thrown at you and then all of that damage bleeds through, it's broken. Like having like 2 clingers on a wall and then you blow up the wall to the dude behind and then you do 200 damage. Like that needs to be stopped. It needs to be able to, like, if it's just 100, no matter what, 100% of the time, like let's say there's 3 clingers on a wall, you throw 3 clingers, you shoot the wall, it should do 100 damage. It shouldn't do 300 damage.
Okay,
Like
so
that would,
now that you understand like what he's talking about, he's basically saying that all the damage goes through, and I'm going to go ahead and explain why this is actually something that works. So basically how the clingers work in Fortnite is they attach to a surface. When that surface goes away, whether it is something that is destroyed via just placing, like, for example, you can destroy certain objects in the game. If I was to say stick this, right, and I was to place... Let me destroy, like, these bushes over here, right? So as soon as I place any object right over, the object is destroyed. You can actually pop clingers on people by destroying objects. It's way too difficult. Don't actually try to do that strategy by sticking a tree and then walking up to it and then placing an object. 1, you're more than likely going to be taking damage. 2, it's just really not realistic to try to like have that as a strategy. You'll be awesome though. I will definitely give you extra credit points if you can do that. But basically how clingers work is when the surface is actually destroyed or gone, which can be multiple different things. There's another strategy that is actually pretty cool, which involves the new 50 cal, the heavy sniper. You could attach the clinger to the surface and then blow it up. That's another strategy that technically does work because the heavy sniper will absolutely just destroy something really fast. So we were talking about how to counter this strategy because basically what happens is someone will be in like a 1x1, right? Let's say on the opposite side they throw clingers. How do you counter it? Generally, what people will do is throw 2 clingers. If you are at full HP, full shields, you will literally go from 100 to 0, and that's why it's so OP. That's why Ninja complained about it in his stream, and I think that that's what really made a lot of people talk about it. It was actually on Reddit. There's a lot of posts on this strategy. It's a really good strategy, though. I happen to use it a lot. I just used that specific clip right there because it was Victory Royale, and obviously we gotta have that in the video. But anyways, so basically you throw 2 clingers and then you shoot the wall, and then when the surface goes away, like I mentioned before, the clinger will instantly explode. There's no delay. If you're holding down left mouse button to build over and over, like when someone's shooting your walls and you constantly are holding left mouse button, you're waiting for them to reload so you can go ahead and be like, oh, he's got to reload now, I'm gonna go ahead and edit, shoot them, you know, you have the advantage. Well, it's not going to really work with this because you're not going to have time. You literally die in a matter of like 0.01 second because there is no time for you to react when that wall is actually exploding other than moving out of the way, or you can build. So one strategy Actually, we were talking about this in my live stream, which is the whole reason why I'm making this video in the first place. So we were actually looking on YouTube for like how to counter this strategy. One strategy would be obviously to move out of the way. However, sometimes that doesn't necessarily work. So one person came up with the idea of building a pyramid. In fact, I'm going to go on his video. He basically goes over how to counter it. It doesn't really work though. There's a lot of reasons why triangles are bad in the game. I'm going to go ahead and explain why his video is like not really necessarily going to work. I'm not trying to like hate on him, but like he's legitimately trying to come up with a strategy. But one problem with a triangle is, first off, you have to be in the center of it, and you also have to be crouched. If you are standing up and you place a triangle here or a pyramid, what's going to happen is you will still be taking damage. Yes, you can shoot outside, but there's a threshold that once you're considered like halfway in, there's a weird thing where you can still technically get hit. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the times where it looks like someone like just phases through your objects when you're building, and because you can have a certain amount of pixels outside of your buildable or even an opponent's buildable, and you could choose which direction you go in. I could have walked right back in, or I could have decided to go back out. And the way the game considers it is, you can still kind of use it like you would use it in a head glitch in Call of Duty. You're still technically covered. This object technically still exists. If I go out, you guys saw that I was considered out of it. But if I'm halfway in, I can decide to go in, and then I'm fully in, and then I can no longer peek. The problem with the pyramid as far as the strategy, let me get on a more flat surface. Let's go on the street here. Is that when any of you only need 1 pixel of your body to be shown to actually take any damage from an explosive. So you'll still be taking the 100 points of damage. So, like I mentioned before, if you throw exactly 2 stickies on an object, then you shoot the object so it explodes, you're going to be taking that 200 points of damage. Like Ninja mentioned, you'll take 300 points of damage, but that's irrelevant. You only need to take 200 to die, unless there's something that comes out in the future, like special armor or whatever. But anyways, so going back to like this whole theory crafting, and by the way, let me know if you guys like this video idea as a series, because I want to call it like advanced techniques and theory crafting, and I'll also want your guys' feedback on this. So if you build the pyramid, what's going to happen is this wall will obviously be destroyed. I'm talking about the one right here that I'm going to shoot. Even though it's kind of strange that you guys can still shoot through it, like I'm basically shooting through the pyramid, because obviously my gun is kind of still in it. But, so that wall will be destroyed, and there's 2 explosions, okay? Even if I was 100% in here, there's going to be 2 explosions, right? Depending on, how far that object is built, because, objects take time, they're going to gain health. If that object if the clinger explodes, it's going to go ahead and explode this, potentially still do 100 points of damage. Even if I'm still inside of the pyramid, even if I'm fully in it, if it's not fully built or if it doesn't have enough health, it's still going to make me take 100 points of damage. Another thing I didn't really like with the pyramid, like I mentioned before, is if any of your pixels are outside, like for example in this case, I would still be taking the damage. So I don't like the pyramid strategy for 2 reasons. One, you have to be crouched and you're pretty much going to be in the center of it, and it's kind of hard to play after this, at least that's the way I feel, so I don't really like that strategy. There's another strategy of just building a ramp. Now the ramp strategy can work. However, because sometimes you, again, only need 1 pixel, depending on where the clinger lands. You have to know where it lands, because if you build a ramp, let's say like right here, and again, this is another thing that can exist in Fortnite, where like you're in a build fight, whatever happens, the clingers get stuck to the wall right in front of you, and you're trying to not take damage, obviously. If for whatever reason you jump, do you see how I jumped but it still pushed me forward? With ramps, they will push you forward in the game. There's actually a strategy to move faster with it, but that's not specifically going to be in this video. But you saw that I jumped, yet I still went through. That's the problem that I have with the ramp, and especially if the clingers are right here, I just basically guaranteed myself death. So the other strategy to kind of counter the whole clingers is to also edit your way out. There's a problem with that too, and this is why this strategy is so dang strong, and it's very hard to counter when someone is essentially turtling in. So if the clingers are right here, and let's say I edit out right here, I can still take damage. If I edit out right here, or even right here, depending on how fast I'm able to react, I could still take damage. The best way to actually avoid damage is to go on the opposite side that the clingers are on. So if the clingers were to land right here, I would just try to edit out right here. But again, sometimes you don't have the reaction time to do that. You basically want to see where they're landing, and you want to edit outward. Another thing I want to mention with the ramp strategy, because that's another strategy where, again, you would build a ramp. If they throw 2 clingers, again, one problem that you have with this is this wall is going to be destroyed by their gunshots. you're gonna have one clinger explode. Again, this could be destroyed by one more clinger, right? And then you'd still take 100 points of damage. So, I mean, yeah, you might have prevented 100 points of damage, but you're still taking, you know, another 100. So, depending on the amount of health. There's another way where people are utilizing this, where, like, if someone's in, like a 1x1, right? And let's say they are built up. It doesn't matter how high, okay? You just throw the clinger on, like, one wall and you shoot them. If they are 100 HP or under, basically when someone says this person is white, meaning that they're taking HP instead of shield damage, at that point you can more than likely know that, unless the only exception would be like stink bombs, but like no one really uses those for the most part. But if you know that they are like on health and they have no shields, then you can just throw one and then you can shoot the wall and they'll explode. You don't have to use up two. Clingers are actually very, very valuable. If any of you guys have watched scrims, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so as far as like strategies to actually counter it, I don't think that there is something that like counters people using it as in you're going to be able to beat them with it. But I think as far as countering it and avoiding damage, like how to counter taking damage, the best way, in my personal opinion, because we were talking about this, no one came up with an idea that you can like actually prevent all damage. Someone was saying you can edit the pyramid, but hold on. Oh, as soon as I can edit it, you can edit the pyramid to, again, try to prevent yourself from taking damage. Again, this is the same problem. This technically has a chance to be destroyed. In fact, sometimes people will just go crazy with clingers and they'll just start throwing out like so many to the point where like you have like no chance at all. So I think the best option for you is going to actually just be just build on the opposite end. But yeah, this is like more like theory crafting, so I want your guys' feedback as well on this OP clinger strategy. But it's really strong right now. It's probably one of the best strategies. Even against good players, there's very little things that I feel like you can do to actually fully negate like the effects and how effective and how easy it is to do for the person that is throwing the clingers versus a player that's trying to counter it. I guess just try not to stick in 1x1s. I don't generally have a problem with it because I generally don't like to turtle up anyways, but you know, obviously in scrims, like, you're gonna have those points where you need to do that because, well, that's just the way scrims work. Anyways, hope this video helped some of you guys out. If you have any ideas, because this is a theory crafting and like a discussion video, I would love to know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. How would you guys counter it? Because like I said, we were talking about this and I think it's a really good video idea to talk about theory crafting in Fortnite and how to counter certain like strategies in the game. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to see more Fortnite content. And I'm signing out.